रिकॉर्डिंग आपने की है खाना मैंने देखा ये थोड़ी सी है जब शुरू में जो पहले हमारी दी थी.
Okay, so we have been talking about consonants, and why work on consonants is what we spoke about. Yes, as we said, Indian consonants are harsher than English consonant sounds. Yes, and we gave an example of the t, the table and the t. Yes, we need to soften the consonant sounds. We said we need to soften them to get speech clarity. Now what happens is, most of the times when we have consonants that are not understandable by others, the clarity goes down because they're like, what is he saying? For example, we take the word measure, measure. Yes. Now if I know, and I only know the pronunciation of this word as measure, and if someone comes and says mayor, the person will not understand what you're saying. Yes. So we are trying to say it has to be said correctly. It has to be said with the correct sound in the right place. So measure and not mayor. To build resonance means that you should have a sound so good that people keep listening and keep following what you are saying. It should not be that after 10 minutes of your speech somebody is asking, what is this person saying? Or after 10 minutes of what you have said, somebody's gone to sleep. It's not only about how interesting the topic is, it's also about how clear you are in your pronunciation. Yes, of course, some of the English consonant sounds we said are missing in certain regional languages. Je, sh, f. Yes, these need to be corrected so that sounds with correct English sounds are spoken. Now we have consonants that are of two types. Yes, we said consonants are of two types, voiced and unvoiced consonants. What are voiced consonants? This involves the muscular activity of the tongue as well as the activation of the vocal cords. Yes, these are voiced. It does not mean that these are so spoken and others are silent. All consonants are of course spoken. Some are voiced, meaning that the vocal cords are vibrated. For example, in b, b, the vocal cords are used and vibrated b. These are voiced consonants. And we have unvoiced consonants like are made by the muscular expulsion of breath without the vocal cords being activated. Yes? Which ones are the, w? You can see, you can hear the difference between a w and a b. W, b. Try it with me. Let's just say w, w. And now say b, b. You can feel the difference in your throat. Let's try it this way. Put your fingers lightly only, on your throat, like this, and say w and b, b. You can see the difference in the vibration. There is more vibration when you say b than w. Yes, this is a voiced and an unvoiced consonant. You might think that we are going too much into technicalities of why. It's not about this. Why we as teachers need to know all these technicalities is to correct it, so that we know, oh, his unvoiced consonants are becoming voiced consonants. Yes, sometimes we have people who confuse the w or the v and the b. Yes, so to know exactly how to say it, how to correct it, we need to know these tools as well. Yes, of course we will look at these tools and how to correct them later. We said consonants are of two types, voiced and unvoiced consonants. Let's do an activity. Okay, let's do an activity. It's in your manual here on page 9 under voiced and unvoiced consonants. The activity here, we have listened to the words. You'll need to listen to me and listen to the words and decide whether it has a s or the z. Please remember, listening is very important when we are doing these activities, so that we get the target sound correctly. We're looking at the s. Say it with me and then you'll know it better. S or the z. There's a difference, voiced and unvoiced. The vibration there or not there. S, no vibration. Z, a lot of vibration. Yes, difference between voiced and unvoiced. S, Z. I will say the words out and you will try and say and see for yourself if it has the S or the Z sound. Okay? Are we all there? Let's go. The first one, eyes. 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 Second, walls. Walls. Yes? Third is carrots. Carrots. Gajar. Carrots. Pleasing. Pleasing. Now you see, again, if we look at the word, we have the written S. Pleasing. But a different sound. Which one is it? We'll do later. Pleasing. Deserve. Deserve. So please carry on making the difference between the written and the spoken, because that's a very crucial difference that we have here. Because students might come and say, but how? Tell them, listen to the sound. Deserve. Of course, know the spelling as well, but listen for pronunciation. Deserve. Next one is single. Single. Nose. Nose. Waltz. W-A-L-T-Z, a type of dance. Yes, waltz. Apples. Apples. Pleasant. Pleasant. Please remember, speak these words with me, after me, so that you know you're producing the sounds yourself, and automatically you'll know if the sound is there or not. Okay? Pleasant. We have the next one, a beautiful flower. I'm sure it's all over in the winters. Daisy. Also a name sometimes. Daisy. Then we have seize. Seize. Not just this, but the other one as well. Seize. He seized the opportunity. Seize. Next one, wrist. Wrist. Wells. Kuएं. Wells. Peas. P-E-A-S. Peas. Matar. Peas. Next one, please. Please. We have serve. Serve. I hope you're all following it here with me in the workbook. Okay. Please. Serve. Next one, size. Size. S-I-Z-E. Size. Then we have ears. Ears. As you can see, we've again used simple, everyday, common words because our focus is sound right now, not vocabulary building. Okay? Ears. Ways. Raisins. Yes? Raisins. Raisins. Pasta. P-A-S-T-A. Pasta. You all know pasta by now. Something to eat that comes from Italy. Pasta. Design. Design. Yes? Then we have sings. He sings or she sings. Sings. Okay? I'm sure you've all done the correct, whether it has a s or a z sound. I'll say the words out quickly once more, and then you see if you've got the s or the z. Write the S for s and write the z in front of it for a z sound. Eyes, walls, carrots, pleasing, deserve, single, nose, waltz, apples, pleasant, daisy, seas, wrist, wells, peas, please, serve, size. And the last column, ears, ways, raisins, pasta, design, and sings. Good? So let's see what the answers to this activity are. The first word, Eyes. Does it have a s or a z? Clearly a z sound. Yes, eyes. Z. So when we are training students and we are teaching this sound, what you will have to do is exaggerate the sound a little more. Of course, when we are talking in everyday language and we're speaking at a good pace in flow, we don't say eyes, we just say eyes. Yes, the difference is right now we are trying to practice the sound, so exaggerate the sound a little more. It's just easier that way. Eyes. Next one, walls. Also with a z sound, walls. Carrots. Is the s sound. Absolutely correct. The s, carrots, has a s sound because we're not saying carrots, we're saying carrots. Yes, there's no vibration. Carrots. Then we have pleasing. Z. Pleasing. It's a z, the z. Absolutely. Deserve. Again the z sound. Deserve. Next one is single. The s sound. Single. Okay, we have certain regions in India as well that mixes up this sound. Yes, we have sometimes people from a certain region in India who say zingle. I am a zingle person. It's nothing good or bad, it's just inversion of the sounds. So you might, as a teacher, maybe have student from somewhere else as well. So please remember, maybe the sound is not confused in the region that you are, but maybe tomorrow you get a child who comes from that region. So please learn to differentiate the sounds, all the sounds, because you don't know what child you'll get tomorrow. Yes, single. Then we have nose with the z sound, clear z sound. Waltz, even though the written z is there in the spelling, we have the sound of the s. Waltz, waltz, s sound, waltz. Then we have apples. Apples. Yes, z. Generally, I will say a pattern is that in English, plurals z, get the z sound, plurals and z, apples. But I say patterns, why don't I say rules? Because in English, whenever we say there's a rule, there'll be 10 exceptions to the rule. So we'll say it easily, it's a pattern, because patterns can change, rules cannot be broken. Okay, pleasant, pleasant is a z sound. Daisy, the flower, daisy, again the z. Sees is again the z. It's the same pronunciation for both. He sees and he seized the day, the same, the z sound. Then we have the wrist with the clear s, wrist. Wells, there were many wells in the village. Wells, please remember, it's the z sound. Peas, P-E-A-S, peas in a pod. Peas is again the z sound. Yes. Please, a word that we need to say very often in a day, please. When we're talking to God above, or to our parents, or to students, or to our superiors, please. So get this pronunciation correct. Please. Okay. Serve is a clear s sound. Serve. S-I-Z-E, size. Size. What sound is here? Size. They're both. We begin with a s, sigh, and we end with a z, size. So both sounds are there, s and z, size. Yes? Good. I hope we are all following it in our workbooks and correcting it with us. Next one is ears. Ears. Z. Perfectly done. Z, ears. Then we have ways. Ways. The ways of the world, or the ways in the mountain. Ways, a clear z sound at the end. Raisins. We have two z sounds here. One in the middle, raise, and ins. Yes, raisins, raisins. There are two z sounds, raisins. The next one is pasta. Pasta, a clear s, pas. It's not pasta. Of course, there's a certain brand which is marketing its pasta with this name, but for us, the pasta is pasta with a s, pasta. Then we have design. Clearly z, design. Please remember, like you have to tell the students as well, whenever they don't know if the sound is there or not, take time with the word, say it design, design, yes, and they'll get to know if the sir or the zer is there. And the last one is sings, sings. What sound is there in this? Sings. We have again something like size, where the word begins with a sir sound and has a zer as well, and sings. So sir beginning and zer at the end. Excellent work. We've done that very well. I'm sure you see how we're bringing out certain sounds in certain activities. It's just to give a little more practice and seeing certain concepts. You see, what happens is we all know sir and zer sound, but we've never seen it in this tabular manner. We've never really given it a thought. Oh, size actually has sir and zer sound. Yes, so that's all we're trying to do here, to get them into a little tabular form for us to practice a little easier. Yes, there's another one activity that we will go on to. It says choose the most logical response. Yes, what we're doing here is I have two sentences, A and B, and I have two words before that, rope, robe, for example, in the first one. I hope you can follow that either on the screen or in your workbooks. Yes, we have rope, robe, and then we have two sentences. The first one saying I'm going to tie the dog and I want to cover myself. Yes, and the logical response is you have to take those two words and see which one matches which sentence. Yes, rope, robe, I'm going to tie the dog and I want to cover myself. So logically speaking, we will not want to tie the dog with the robe and want to cover myself with a rope. I don't think that's the logical response. A logical response will be absolutely, I'm going to tie the dog with the rope and I want to cover myself with the robe. What are we trying to do here? Of course, logical thinking, yes, but we're trying to see the difference between p and b. Rope, p, and robe, b. Yes, if you change a p to a b or a b to a p, the rope becomes a robe and the robe becomes a rope. And as we can see in the logical sentences, you really can't wear a rope and tie a dog with a robe. You can, but it's not the logical response. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this exercise. What I will do is, I will read out the two words, I will read out the two sentences, and then we carry on like this. You see, what you could do in your workbooks is write the correct word in front of the sentence, and then we will try and practice speaking them out at the end as well. Good? Let's go. The first one we've done, I'm going to tie the dog with the rope and I want to cover myself with a robe. The difference of the consonant, p, b. Next one is in my diary, the first sentence, and sentence B is in the park on my bike. And the two words that we have here is write and ride. Okay, now you can see, also you can hear the difference of the vowels and the clarity of the vowels that we need. Write and ride, the clear I vowel that we did right in the beginning, I, write and ride. What we generally have it as write and ride. Yes, you'll hear it, the difference is that. As I said again, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it, it's not an accent, it is the clarity and the clear, good pronunciation that we're doing here. So, write, ride. Right now we're looking at consonants. So the consonant t and d, if you change it, write, the t becomes ride. Yes, and from the meaning changes as well. In my diary, in the park, on my bike. Next sentence, sentence 3, cold and gold. Two words, gold, cold. Sentence A is it was full of ice, and sentence B is it was very expensive. I think it still is very expensive, but we'll see which one we're talking about. Okay, sentence number 4, fan and van. Please notice when we are doing words and consonants, please notice the shape of the lips, how I am trying to produce the sound, because it's very important to get the clarity. Fan and van. I am exaggerating the sounds. This is something that you as teachers will have to do as well to get the students to notice. If I say fan, if I say van, the difference is minimal or not even there to see. If I say fan, they see the clarity in making the lips, shaping of the lips, fan. Yes, so you'll have to do this as well. So fan, van, and 4a is I need more room for the family, and 4b is the weather is very hot. Okay, the weather is very hot. 4b and 4a is I need more room for the family. Fan, van. Sentence 5, b, v. That's what we've written here, a B or a V. Yes, it is spelled V-E-R-Y, very. Yes, it is spelled B-U-R-Y, berry. Please remember B-U-R-Y has a pronunciation berry, the same as B-E-R-R-Y is berry. It has the same pronunciation, berry and berry. So one has a V and one has a B, and the meaning changes, very and berry. Okay, let's see. So we'll go with the first sentence, and like I said, we've done that already. You can write the word in front of the sentences where you have the words. Rope, I'm going to tie the dog with a rope. I want to cover myself with a robe. Sentence 2. In my diary. Will I ride in my diary or write in my diary? With a t or a d? Absolutely, it's a t. Write. I will write in my diary. Some people have a habit of writing a diary, or maybe you need to write your appointments in a diary. Yes, diary. In my park, in the park on my bike. You're riding the bike. So riding, the d. Yes, that was the second. The third sentence is, with the option of the words was gold and cold, g and k. Yes, the g is gold, and when we unvoice it without the vibration here, the g becomes a k and becomes cold. Yes, so it was full of ice, naturally not, logically not the gold, but cold. It was cold, it was full of ice. And we have, it was very expensive. I'm sure everyone knows it's gold, very expensive. For A, we have I need more room for the family. Yes, on the fan, hopefully not. The logical response is in the van, van. And the weather is very hot, so we need the fan, absolutely. Then the b and the v, as we said, yes, it is spelled very with a v. And yes, it's spelled berry, B-U-R-I, with a b, very or berry. Please remember the difference in all of the v and the b, t and d. As we've seen here with these examples, that the meaning of the word changes totally if it's voiced or unvoiced, if it's correctly said or not. These are examples that maybe you can use in class as well, so that you can train the children to see the difference clearly when a word is pronounced with the correct sound or not. We come to something which is very important, which is called word stress. Now, stress is something that we have all been talking about for many things. Stress can be in many different ways. A person can be stressed at work, a person can be stressed at home. But what does it mean? A word also has stress? How can a word have stress? These are lifeless things. Now, a word stress is nothing else, but as we can see in our workbooks or on the screen, English is a stressed time language. What does that mean? That means word stress refers to stressing upon a single syllable. Syllables in a word. Now, what are syllables? We'll come to each and every definition as well, but a word is made up of certain syllables, how it is formed. Yes? Now, which syllable is stressed? That means word stress. Okay? The word stress means a prominent syllable. It's a very good way to say a prominent syllable in a word is word stress. Now, many times what happens in India is, and many parts in Asia as well, we don't give enough importance to word stress. It's not really important or not really taught in, whereas in where English is taught as the first language, word stress is formed just the same way as spellings or pronunciation or sounds. So word stress is very, very important, and you will see sometimes if we change the word stress of the same word, the meaning of the word changes. Yes? So as a general rule, only one syllable is stressed in a single word. For us, for general rule or general pattern forming of English, we will say one single syllable stress in a single word. Of course, there are secondary stresses words and things. We will not get too complicated, because the more complicated we get, the more confusing it gets for our students. If they get one single stress right in a word, we're okay with that, because that gets us at least 70 to 80% of the pronunciation correct. So we'll look at word stress as well. How to pronounce a stressed syllable. When a syllable is stressed, it is pronounced longer in duration, it is higher in pitch, it is louder in volume. It's not either or, it's all three. It's not a choice, oh, this syllable I'll put it higher in pitch, this syllable I'll say it louder in volume. No. Every stressed syllable in every word has to be longer in duration, higher in pitch, louder in volume. Okay? Only then do you get the correct meaning from every word out. So, for example, like we have here, Teacher, teacher, like you and me, teacher. We have a part of the word that is slightly longer in time, that is higher in pitch, and is a little louder. Teacher. Teacher. Yes, if we take it a little slower, you can see the clear difference in the pitch, in the volume, in the duration. Teacher. Yes, teacher. Now this T is the stressed syllable. Teacher. Now this is something also students can only pick up if you as a teacher are doing it correctly and are making sure the stressed syllables are clearly heard and said out loud and all the time stressed, so that students know when they are listening to you and they are imitating you that they know teacher. Okay? They see and hear the difference, because most students are listening in, but when you make them aware of these small nuances of the language, these small differences in a language, it'll change a lot for them. They'll be listening into this. Make sure as and when we are doing any session with them that you make sure you ask them, listen, 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 listen. First listen, then write. What happens sometimes is students are most in the habit of writing. Everything that you are saying, writing, writing, writing. Here we are trying to get them to speak. Because what happens is, a bit of learning psychology is that whatever you write in a book or whatever you write down, your mind thinks of it as in computer terms, a secondary storage area. The mind doesn't remember, oh, it's in the book, I'll look at it, I'll refer to it later. Yes? But when we take it into our brain and practice it, it becomes a part of you. And that only happens right here in class. And it only happens not when you write it in your notebook now and go home and see it. They might practice at home as well. Hopefully they will practice at home as well. But you won't be there in each and every home to tell them. Whereas if you make them practice and get it correctly, then you in a certain way will be in every home because you've corrected them already. Yes, you will go with them. So make sure you as teachers carry on speaking the correct form, the correct pronunciation, loud, clear, a little exaggerated, so that the students carry on picking it up. Word stress, like we just said, teacher. So longer T, higher T, and louder T, teacher. And all three combined give you the clear first syllable stress of teacher. Yes? Also a very important word and something that we need, intonation. What is intonation? Anyone who knows intonation, of course it's written here, intonation is a term used to refer to the distinctive use of different patterns of pitch. It's nothing else but, in simpler terms put, the music of the language. It's the music. It's when you go higher or when you go lower. When you raise your pitch, when you lower your pitch. When you raise your volume, when you lower your volume. All this together gives us the intonation. Why do we need this? You see, intonation is an extremely powerful tool that we use to convey our message. Yes, it's when you're sitting in a large audience, if we don't change our pitch, if we don't go higher or lower in our pitch, the message is lost. They don't know what you're talking about, because if I carry on speaking like a robot and see, if I carry on reading this, intonation is a term used to refer to the use of different patterns of pitch that carry meaningful information. Does it mean anything? It means nothing. It's just words, it's just sound, it's nothing. Whereas if I say intonation is a term used to refer to distinctive, what happens is certain words jump up. Certain words are said louder, certain words are said lower. Yes, this gives us the meaning. It's very simple. Intonation has to do with the words that give you the meaning of the sentence. If you just listen to those three words, it should give you the meaning. Intonation is a very powerful tool for expressing your thoughts, expressing what you are trying to say with clarity. When we speak normally, the pitch of our voice is constantly changing, obviously. We describe pitch in terms of high pitch or low pitch. Please remember, pitch and volume are two different things. I can raise my pitch, but I can still have a very low volume. I can lower my volume, but my pitch does not automatically go down with that. Yes, I'm sure you all have tried it many times. High pitch, low volume. High volume, but low pitch. Yes, this is the difference between volume and pitch. So many times people confuse, he has a very loud volume. It's not the volume, maybe he does as well, but the pitch as well. So pitch is also very, very important, how the pitch carries on in understanding of the language. Let us have this following example, as you see in your workbook and in your on your screens as well. The question is, what is the difference between the two sentences? He is going tomorrow. That's the first sentence with a he is going tomorrow with a full stop in front. He is going tomorrow with a question mark. It's the same set of words. He is going tomorrow, both sentences. Yes? But one has a full stop at the end and one a question mark. And obviously our tone, our pitch, our intonation has to change to convey the meaning, because we don't say he is going tomorrow full stop, he is going tomorrow question mark. No, our tone, our pitch, our intonation has to convey these particular punctuations. That is intonation. For he is going tomorrow is just information. He's going tomorrow. He's going tomorrow means automatically you come to know it's a question. Yes, this is very, very important to get right, because a question and an information has to be different. Sometimes we ask a question, but if we don't ask it in a question form, you can still be waiting for an answer, but the other person does not know that he or she has to give you an answer. For example, if I want to know if the person is going tomorrow, I'll say he's going tomorrow, but if I say he's going tomorrow, you might just think I'm giving you the information he is going tomorrow. And I might still be waiting for an answer, and I'll say he's going tomorrow, and you say, okay, good. But I can then ask you, but I need to know, is he going tomorrow? And I didn't even ask you the question. So tone, pitch, intonation, extremely important. As you see here, the melodies of the two sentences are different. The melody of the first sentence drops at the end, making it a statement. Yes, the melody of the second sentence rises at the end, making it a question. So remember, when a melody rises at the end of a sentence, it's always a question. How does this happen? It's more to do with human psychology. You see, when we hear something which has an intonation that goes up, the melody goes up, the brain understands it as a question. And automatically, the brain tells you, you have to give an answer. So this is how we need to use these tools for our use, so that we get the information that we require. Yes, make sure your students are using this quite often. Now these sentence melodies are called intonation. Very important next bit is rate of speech. Now Asians are known to speak at almost twice the pace as people in the West. We in Asia have a very fast rate of speech. Rate of speech means words per minute. How many words per minute do we speak with each other. Now, why does that happen? Are we in a hurry? No, it's not that. You see, as we said in the beginning, our original languages, our first language, our mother tongue, generally has this influence on our other languages as well. Our first languages generally are spoken in a little faster pace than English. And that faster pace also sometimes leads to unclarity. You know, I always say it's like when you're sitting in a train, if the train and you're looking at the view outside. When the train is going at a good pace, not too slow, not too fast, you can enjoy the scenery. As soon as the train starts going very fast, the scenery becomes a blur, it becomes a haze, you can't see what is outside. So you can't really enjoy it. And if it's too slow, then also you get bored of the scenery outside, you say, when will it change? If it's going at a good pace, you enjoy it. It's exactly the same with language and rate of speech. You need to have a good rate of speech so that the person listening to you keeps his interest or her interest alive and can still enjoy what you're saying. Maybe the information you're giving them is not as interesting, but your rate of speech has to be absolutely perfect. The words per minute have to be correct. Now, a fast rate of speech gives the impression of an anxious and an ineffective person. Yes, a person who is kind of nervous or is anxious, sometimes starts to speak very much and a lot faster. And the person listening to the person like this, who's speaking very fast, also gets an impression, why is he or she so anxious? What is wrong? What is she trying to say? Like you've seen, if you're in a hurry or if you've got some very important information, generally people start saying it too fast and most of the people have to say, okay, slow down, tell me, aram se. Yes, we all say, aram se, tell me now again. What were you trying to say? It gives an impression of an anxious person. We need to speak in a good rate of speech. It does not mean you have to speak very slow, at a good rate of speech. What is a good rate of speech? How we slow people down, how to speak all of this at a good words per minute, we will be doing trainings later. Now, speech is very hard to understand when it's very fast. You have to facilitate, you as teachers have to facilitate communication. A communication only happens if the rate of speech is good. It's your job to make an effort to understand and be understood for students as well. Yes, so rate of speech, generally we will see, when we'll do rate of speech as well, becomes much clearer, much better when we start exaggerating the vowel sounds. Generally, it's always these vowel sounds that become shorter that give us very quick rate of speech. Yes, if we have to say L-I-G-H-T, light, and we say light, automatically the time taken for each word goes lower, and every word one by one becomes shorter, and of course many more words flow in 1 minute, and the rate of speech becomes faster. Clarity goes down, communication is hampered. So we need to take a look at this as well as rate of speech. Now we have talked about, we'll do a quick recap of what we've done today so that we can look at it clearly tomorrow. You have your workbooks with you. All of those who don't have the workbook with you, please make sure we have the workbook with us tomorrow. We will look at the 20 vowel sounds that we did on page 7. Yes, we have page 7 on page, and we did what is accent and components of accent in the 20 vowel sounds. Now, what I would like you to do for tomorrow is go through this exercise, try and see the 20 vowel sounds that we have, because from tomorrow we will begin with the vowel sounds, how to articulate the vowel sounds, how to correct the vowel sounds. You as teachers will need to have the tools to correct vowel sounds. What are the major differences that we see in producing these vowel sounds and how the correction needs to happen? What I would like you to do, no, don't worry, I'm not giving you homework. It is just so that you can take a look at these 20 vowel sounds. Maybe listen to something on TV, maybe go and read a newspaper out loud and try and see each vowel sound, how it is happening for you. Yes, how are you producing it? We all have been doing it enough for all these past years. Right now it's just to get a bit of clarity on that. Yes, like eh is one of the first ones that we will do tomorrow, and eh as in well. These, you'll see, we'll generally do vowels as one section, and at the end we'll see how these become inversed. For example, I and eh, yes, will, well, like we did, how they will keep changing with each other and how we need to keep correcting them. Also, what I would like you to do is the kind of exercises that we've done, like identify the words with the short vowel sounds and the long vowel sounds. Maybe you could do some more words for yourself so that you know that mat, pot, cup. Maybe make 3 more words like that to carry on ahead. So, just to wrap up, what were vowels? Vowels, as we said, were original sounds that come straight from the lungs out from the voice box. How do they change? With our lips, our tongue? No, those were consonants. It's just the lip, the shape of the mouth, and how they are produced. For example, o, e, o, u. Yes, the shape of the mouth either coming closer or further. The other thing that you could do today is maybe go to the mirror. Yes, and try and make these vowel sounds with your hands to see how better can you as teachers train these sounds. Ooh. You see, if you do that with your hand, it's sometimes easier for students to see that they need to get their lips together to say ooh. Yes, they will feel, they'll see that their lips have to come together, ooh. Or if you say e, yes, this has to come towards the outside, e. Yes, try and make these kind of things in front of the mirror for yourself, because we will be doing it in each and every session for each and every sound. What we have planned for tomorrow is that we will carry on with our vowel sounds with session 5. Long vowels, the I, and E is what we will try and cover tomorrow and see how to produce these sounds. Something before we carry on is we as teachers, you as teachers, me as a trainer to the teachers for this particular program, have to remember that there are 2 things that stop us from learning. The first being, if we are not motivated. We don't see the purpose for this. Why am I doing this? You know, I know all this. The second being, when I stop learning, is when my ego comes into play. If my ego says, oh, you're too good, you don't need to learn. Please make sure we as teachers cannot let these 2 things come in our way in learning. Yes, we are teachers. Yes, we are trainers. We can never stop learning enough. It's never enough. You have to, and especially with a language like English, which is so alive. English in the last year as well has just taken into itself over 1,000 or 2,000 new words have joined English. Where has English taken these from? Some from Hindi, yes, some from Persian, some from French. So English keeps on taking on influences on each other and carries on living. And that's how it keeps growing. And that's the same thing for us. We are English teachers. We need to remember to keep our mind open, to keep learning. Maybe today the pronunciation is not the same as what it was earlier. Some words have changed the pronunciation, yes. How do we know what is correct, what is not correct? We have to keep up to date. Yes, never feel shy in practicing. Never feel shy in making these sounds out in class in front of your students. Because once they see you making them with absolute ease and knowing how to do it very easily, they will be doing exactly the same. Please remember, motivation is something that we will need to carry on doing. Yes, we will need to keep ourselves motivated. We will need to keep the students motivated. Yes, and don't let the ego come in the way. We will carry on learning together. I hope you've had an interesting session with me. We will be seeing a lot more of each other in the coming few days. We will be learning a lot from each other and carrying on practicing. I'm sure you will be given telephone numbers and an email address as well, where you can get in touch with us if you have any questions regarding the manual or the sessions that we have, the software that we've provided for the students, or also any of the teaching methodology that we do here. Please feel free to get back to us, telling us what your feedback is. It's very, very important to us. I will see you tomorrow, again in the morning. We will carry on with this session and learning further vowels and consonants. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.